Welcome to a new series. I had to start with Lucid Stew. He hails from Project Spark, and I do apologise to everyone in my first video. Well, not my first video, my thank you video. I forgot to include Project Spark and its wonderful community. For that I apologise. I'm a PlayStation guy, you know. I only think of PlayStation. I keep forgetting there are other consoles. So I'm sorry about that. Thank you to you. But this is Lucid Stew. The thing about Lucid Stew is he's really thermo. He concentrates on the thermo a lot. He tries to keep all of his assets within 1-2 thermos at the most. His aim, from what I think he said once before, was to make it so that you could use all of the assets he produces in one level, and you'll see that at the very end actually, in his own level. But the quality of his assets are second to none. He makes some really good assets, and what you'll notice about Lucid Stew, well, his first creations anyway, is he's concentrated on rust. Rust is just perfect for low detail. It lends itself to low detail. It gives it that rustiness look, with a little bit of colouring, as you can see. He must spend a long time on these. These are not just thrown together. He's looked at this, he's rotated this, he's thought very carefully about how he applies the colour to make it look like there's rust. He's worked hard on these assets. And the thing is, he's done it for the community. You know, the Lucid Stew is a perfect example of the Dreams community. It's sharing, it's selfless, it's helpful, and while he's making these assets, he's thinking of you. Not just himself. Obviously he's going to use these assets himself, but he's actually thinking of the community, because he knows one of the worries is the thermo. And so he set out in the beta to try to help. And that is the Dreams community. And that's why Lucid Stew is first. It's the first person that came to mind when I put this series idea to myself and thought, that'll be nice, yeah, I'll do that. Who can I pick? I know, Lucid Stew. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. Check out his Twitter. Don't forget to follow him on Dreams. And make sure you check his YouTube channel out as well, because I am absolutely certain that at some point he's going to be making really good tutorials. He knows what he's doing, he knows what he's talking about. I mean, I'm no technical guy, but I think if you asked anybody who is in the community, they'd agree that Lucid Stew knows what he's doing. Well, look at these assets. They're wonderful. They're wonderfully done. Thoughtfully done. But here's a perfect example of what Stew is all about. Keeping that thermo down. Here you have a cube with 6 different sides. This can be used for a multiple amount of things. Every side has got a purpose. It's not just a block with one side or a flat surface with one side. It's got a cube. That is very thermo friendly. You know, you're just going to get one hit for that one asset, but that one asset can be used 6 different ways. That is an important thing. You know, say something like this I said about the rust being perfect for a choice for his first set of assets. And you know, yeah, the low poly, there's nothing stopping you going into these and remixing them. You could turn that into a brand new, nice shiny rail. It might cost you a lot more thermo, but you can. The same with this fence, you know. Personally, I would likely go in and change the fencing itself and leave the struts, the supports, as they are. I have done that in actual fact, and it looked pretty damn good, and I got it to about 4-5 thermo, I think, maybe a little less, and it looked new. It looked great. Just remember, this person is putting these assets together. He's putting time and effort into this for you. Do you think of any other community? I'm sure it was the same in Project Spark. I know it was the same in Little Big Planet. These are what make this platform. He's put so much work into these. I don't know why he's put it on the back there. You wouldn't even see it. But then again, you know, he's a perfectionist, obviously. I mean, I'm a perfectionist in what I do. I don't always pull it off, but that was always my goal. But just appreciate Lucid Stu and everything he's doing for the community, because it's great. That's a wonderful. And here's another example of a multiple purpose sculpt. 6 sides, 6 purposes. You know? An old abandoned warehouse. Outside, a playground. A rickety old road. You know, there's nothing stopping you going in any of these assets and tightening them up, or even loosening them. You could loosen that up more if you wanted. It depends on how far it is. If it's in distance, why not loosen it up a bit more? And here's another example of his assets with multiple uses. This, I would imagine, is for flats, but you could use that in many ways. That could be used for, you make that tiny and you can make a support beam with it. You know, you could make anything with these. But I would imagine that is maybe a block of flats, industrial building, something along those lines. He was very prolific in the beta at producing assets. I don't think he had much time to produce much of his own, but here's another example of a more complex structure he created. Take it as it is, or maybe change it. Add a bit of green, a few flowers here and there, and you've got something that's actually quite beautiful. As you would see these assets in something like The Last of Us, for instance, where they took destruction and nature and smashed them together in an interesting and beautiful way. You know, beauty doesn't have to be your chocolate box cover or your Christmas card, does it? Beauty can be all sorts. And this to me is a beautiful structure. It's wonderfully constructed. It's great. It's random. It's all over the place, but it smacks of dereliction. But this to me is one of my favourite assets. I don't know why. I think it's just that subtle shine he's got on it. He's dimmed it. I bet he spent ages deciding, shall I make it shiny? Shall I make it a little bit dim? I don't know what he's made that out. I don't know what finish he's got on that. I do like the plastic finish. It lends the creation something. But again, he's gone in, look. Each of those bolts are meticulously placed. He's gone on with a little bit of rust here and there just to make it look aged. And he's faded that green paint just a little bit as well. Need to stop smoking, folks. And here's a wall. Bog standard wall. The only thing I would do if I were Lucid is cut the blocks out at the side so that they'd fit together like a jigsaw. I did use this, and I noticed that you could see the seam, but if I could fit them together like a jigsaw puzzle, it would be better. And here is higher quality assets, if you like. They're all high quality, but I mean in thermo use. This one would be around 10, 11. I looked at one in the first video and it was 11, so I'm assuming they're all around that range. But that plastic look, I think that's what reminds me of Little Big Planet. That plastic look, that toy feel. And here we've got a stanchion. I mean, look at that. That's so well made. He spent ages doing these for you. And that is the thing. That's what we need to all do. I'm not very good at making assets. But when I do, I will making stacks of them. Stacks of them. Here's that same asset that I showed you in yesterday's video. Thought I'd put it in here too, just to show you the range he's got. He's got a marvellous range. I can't wait to see what he does when he actually spends some time for himself and not the community. It's going to produce some pretty amazing things. And then again, you'll notice, thinking on his feet as usual, 6 sides, 6 different purposes. You know? Put one either side, you've got a corridor. Go inside, you've got a room. You've even got a bunk bed if you put a little bit something on that side there. Easy. Easily done. But he doesn't just make assets. He makes all sorts of things. He makes nature. I mean, you know, this tree, I am not sure how high in Thermo it will be. I don't think it's going to be the lowest tree I've seen. But knowing Stu, it won't be as high as you imagine. He's probably been pretty clever with how he's constructed this. But I do like that, the fullness of that tree. That's a really good tree, and it's the branches and the trunk are really well done too. Same tree, I would imagine, recoloured. I don't know, I might be wrong there. Maybe somebody can tell me in the comments. Maybe Stu himself can let me know if that's the same tree but rejigged. It certainly looks like the same tree, but there's nothing, you know, why not do that and set it out as a separate asset, because it saves you the bother of doing it. And there you go, another perfect example. A block, 6 different uses for the same purpose, but to give it more flavour. You know, you could use that as a meadow, even a lawn. You can even make that looser if you wanted. I mean, it's obviously that part's for a lawn. Clearly that's not what my lawn looks like, that's for sure. My lawn looks a bit like the industrial thing. And then he does things like this. Gives you lovely people a title screen. All you have to do is go in and remix it and use it to your heart's content. But he also makes music. Let's just listen to this. A gifted individual. But he also does this. I bet he had so much fun doing this. I can imagine him, just imagine him sat there in front of his mic. Can you imagine if his other half walked in, or a friend walked in and looked at him, they'd probably back out. Like the meme with Simpson. I'll see you later, Stu. And here's his level. Here you can see all of his assets come together. I don't know if he made, I looked, but I don't know if he made the actual robot itself. I'm not sure, so I couldn't say yay or nay in that. But this is everything you've just seen brought together in one. That's important, right? In one location. Normally you would use maybe 3-4 assets in many different ways, but what Stu has done, this is a proof of what he's doing. He wants to use all of his assets in one location to show how low in polygon they are. And look, you see, you can't tell they're low in polygon. I thought he'd done something with that box. I couldn't get the box to work. Maybe I missed something. But the lighting, that subtle lighting, is so well done. That light coming up through the grids, through the flooring, just illuminating those barrels, and the lighting on the roof there and on the fencing. It's so well done. It's so well done. And remember, he didn't really spend that much time doing this for himself because he was too busy doing things for the community. But once he can do things for the community and get himself into making a level, I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does. I'm not sure if there was a glitch here. Could be because this is the early access build, but I've walked on the thin air, so it could be. Listen to that nice little sound he's picked. There's a little something in the background as well, a little whirring sound. This is where I thought, what happened here? I jumped, I thought, oh, I'm floating. So, slight glitch there. I can't remember, I could have sworn I saw him play this, and it didn't do this. So there may be something to do with early access. But, well done that man. Well done that man. Give him some love. Like I said, follow him on Twitter, watch his YouTube channel, sub to his channel, and follow him in dreams. Excellent. Good work, Lucid Stew. Thanks for everything.